She says that you have a gift and that you should be exploring it as and when you've got the time. That's kind of implying that you don't have a lot of spare time at the moment. But she says, you know, sounds very biblical, asking and you shall receive. So she's just saying, if you ask for time for spirit, things will get shuffled around. Any other questions?
Just to say to that lady, I got someone else to help her, but thank you for telling me that you needed to go, because I got someone else to do it because I wasn't sure about how to do it. But
you know, if you're an enabler, that's what counts. She's just saying, well, if you hadn't done it, probably wouldn't have happened.
Right.
So she just wants to thank you for that. Bless you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bless you. Can I come to this lady here? Yeah. Okay. I've got a gentleman here. He's showing me a cap. This is a Navy cap. He's showing me himself in uniform. I'm not sure what kind of rank this is, but he wouldn't have been an officer or anything. I can't see any bands or a captain or anything. Quite tall, slim. He's around 5'10", 5'11". We're going back sometime because this is going back towards the war. He's talking about, God, what's that? You won't remember this, you're too young, but Players cigarettes. And they've got, yeah, you can. Okay, because he's just showing me, he's showing me that band and there's a picture of a sailor with a cap and he's got Players underneath it. Okay, so he's of that era. Right, let me just... the way he's talking is very kind of sticking to the naval theme. He says that you tend to steam into things, that you have a lot of energy when something new comes up that you put all your energy into. Would that make sense to you? Yeah. He's also talking about that energy coming in waves. Okay. Right. He's talking about 3 projects. He says you abandoned one, and there was uncharacteristic blocking of that. For what it just wouldn't happen for whatever reason. Does that make sense to you? Okay, let me just.
I have to think.
Okay, let me just check. I'm seeing books being opened. When you throw yourself into a subject, you really start to research it, does that make sense? But I'm just seeing you flicking through pages, taking it all in.
I was doing that today.
Okay, fantastic. Now, yourself being the third person who's talking about 2 other people that you got involved in a project with. They kind of had all the enthusiasm, you got dragged into it. They kind of lost their enthusiasm and then the whole thing stalled. Does that make sense to you? It's just gone like that, it's gone right over your head, hasn't it?
Yeah, I can't. No.
Not to worry, not to worry. If it's that important, he'll come back. I'm just going to see what else. Right. Would you understand this gentleman saying, new home there at last? So this feels as though you have settled into a home now. I think you've been there for a while.
Yeah.
It just feels like home now.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Obviously he's happy at that. Would you understand him saying you were never quite sure that you would just settle in and feel comfortable?
Yeah.
Okay. He's showing me Tudor roses, but these almost look like poppies. They're that kind of colour with a black middle. I've got no idea what he's talking about. Does that make sense?
I've got roses now at the moment indoors.
Right, okay.
It could be that.
It does feel like that. That does feel right. Okay. He says having flowers in the home is not new for you, but somehow this feels different. Does that make sense to you? It's okay to say no.
No, not really. I do like flowers, but
Okay, let me just... Usually if I get food, it's something you love or you hate. I'm seeing bread being baked and there's a real strong smell of bread. So would that make sense to you, something you love doing, or it's just you, you really don't want... Right, okay, right.
I like bread, but I can't bake.
Okay, right. Yeah, it usually goes that way. It's either one thing or another. Fantastic, okay. Have you got any questions you'd like to ask?
No, not really. I just can't think at the moment.
I'm like that myself. Sometimes mediums tend not to get messages for themselves, and when I go and see a friend, I've got 100 questions, and when they say, have you got anything you want to know, I just can't think of a single thing. Okay. Take this gentleman's love. Right. Would you understand 3 brothers in the family that got lost? He says lost at sea, so they were probably all in the Navy.
Probably, yeah.
Okay, wonderful. Just take his great love. He says things are going to continue to improve, that happiness is going to bloom. He's using the flower theme for you. Fantastic. Good luck.
Thank you.
Can I come to that lady there? Yeah. Hiya. I've got 2 songs with you. I've got Neil Sedaka singing O Carol. I can't place the other one. It will come to me in a moment. There is a gentleman linking up with you. He's more or less the same build, quite tall, quite slim. And he says, connected with the past, there has been what he calls unfortunate passings. So would that make sense to you? Okay. He wants to say there's no such thing in that sense as unfortunate passings, and I know when we lose someone, it's the same when I lost my dad. You know, I've seen spirits since I was 2, and you'd think I'd know better. I was completely slaughtered when my dad passed, and for that month I just didn't know where I was. So when he says there are no unfortunate passings, I do understand how it affects everybody. But the reason that he's taken that attitude and that angle is, he says, look, it's okay, it was planned, it was meant to be, because we sometimes think of lives being cut tragically short. It's very, very rare that that happens. It's usually planned. He seems to want to put your mind at ease with that, because he's drawing me to a particular person that you still feel very connected to, that you still mourn as a real tragic loss. Would that make sense to you? Yeah. Okay. And what he wants to say is, it's okay, do try and let it go. Sometimes, I don't think you're over grieving, but sometimes when we really grieve, we hold them back. I wanted to say that was a gentleman that had been lost. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah,
okay. So it's again? 2 of them, oh bless. Yeah, because he was going on about a series of, you know, unfortunate passings. Okay. Now, as he's brought this other gentleman in, there's a connection between them. I'm not entirely sure. They feel like brothers. Does that make sense?
That would be my dad and my husband.
Ah, okay. Right.
They're just tremendous together.
Okay. I think they passed at different times,
Yeah.
but there's a similarity in the way they pass, which I'm not quite understanding, but would that make sense to you as well?
Well, can I tell you what they...
If you feel we've got a connection,
Well,
yeah?
No, my husband had empathy in the heart and lungs. He was on oxygen 24/7.
Oh.
But my dad had their, what do they call it? Yeah, what do they call it?
Oh, like,
Sorry?
Aneurysm.
Yeah.
Aneurysm.
Yeah.
okay, right. So it's not what's taken them over, but there's some sort of similarity between them, and it may have been in the way that they were taken or the length of time that they were both ill. Although aneurysms tend to be quick, but there were other things with that gentleman.
Got the emphysema.
Yeah.
That was bad.
Okay, fantastic. Right, now, this gentleman's come along just to say, you know, it's okay, let go a little bit. I know that you pray an awful lot, if that makes sense to you. And he says they do hear your thoughts and your prayers. The prayers themselves are helping, but the fact that you are missing them so much is just holding them back slightly. Now, I know this is going to sound very strange, but once we can accommodate that, we all grieve differently. Some get over it fairly quick, you know, a few months, others 20 years, they're still there. Would I be right in saying it was about 20 years ago when one of them went?
My husband will be 18 years this Christmas.
Right, okay.
It's December the 15th.
Right, because as I said 20, I just got a little tick, so I wasn't sure whether he meant 20, but obviously we're 2 years away, but we're getting there. Okay. So what he's saying is that as that grieving process comes to an end, you will find that they will feel closer to you. Would you understand this gentleman saying that you've had what he calls 1 or 2 visits from, you know, felt your husband around you? Would that
I do
make
see
sense?
spirits.
Fantastic.
As I said, as a child.
Ah,
My mum
brilliant.
never believed them.
Oh, brilliant. So you're in a kind of similar situation to me. You know, I had all that experience. I don't mean that sound egotistical, but yet when my dad went, I was just, you know, I didn't know where I was. Okay, that makes sense. But as you accommodate that, he will come closer to you, and so will the brother. Okay, have you got any questions you'd like to ask?
No, as long as they're happy where they
He
are.
said
Is my dad and my husband together now?
they are. He says they see each other frequently. So
They used to like playing cards.
okay, now it's nice that you mentioned that, but would you understand that they had a similar outlook of life, but they had different hobbies? Would that make sense to you?
Well, my husband is a policeman who stole the crimes in Scotland Yard.
Right, okay. Because as you asked about are they together, he said they see each other frequently. They do have other interests which draw them away, but of course they're always connected.
Yeah.
So yes, they do see each other. Sometimes mediums say, and to me it sounds quite scary, they say, you know, your dad's always with you, and you think, oh my God, 24 hours a
They
day.
used to go every day for 16 years and look after him.
Oh, bless.
Yeah, he used to live up the road. He used to do his hair cut, shaving.
Oh, bless. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so, you know, when people say that, you kind of get this image of like they're there 24 hours a day. That wouldn't be heaven. I wouldn't like to be there, you know, standing over my dog for 24 hours a day thinking whatever. They are linked by thought, so when something happens, they are aware of it, they are aware of your thoughts. They're not literally, you know, standing beside you. Any questions at all?
No, I'm quite
Okay.
pleased what you told me.
Oh, bless you. Obviously take your husband and your dad, their great love, this gentleman as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you
God
very
bless.
much. Thank you.
Can I come to this lady here? Yeah, bless you. As I looked over, I just saw the Joker, as in the Batman films. So there's a gentleman that's very much a Joker. But as I saw that Joker, it also changed a little bit into the slightly more sinister Joker of the new Batman film. So there was a gentleman that had, he was certainly considered a good sense of humour. He probably took it too far, and there could sometimes be a little twist to it. Would that make sense to you? Okay, let's see. Would you understand the name Mary, which is in spirit? Not Mary,
Not
no.
unless it's in someone I don't know of. You know.
Right, it should be someone you know, Mary or Marie.
Should be about 50.
Again, I'm really rubbish, but yeah, that kind of sits right. I just got a little tick of that. Okay, fantastic. I think you'll recognise the gentleman at some point, and if you're like me, in a couple of weeks' time, you'll wake up screaming in the middle of the night, I've got it. Okay, which would be typical of him. I think he liked to surprise people, but okay, right. I have to modify the language a little bit, but he's saying that supermarkets are a real pain. So would that make sense to you as not being your favourite place to go? Okay. He says you get quite flustered, not in the sense of you not knowing what to do, but it's just like, you know, everywhere's a queue, you know, what you want on special offer is just not there anymore. And I feel a real sense of frustration with that. And typical of his sense of humour, he's quite enjoying that. Okay. He says you're a very relaxed person, but there's someone not so close, I haven't heard this phrase for ages, that gets your go. Would that make sense to you?
Yes.
Okay, right.
Definitely.
Now, it's still been very irreverent. It's a lady, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely, yeah. Because I did want to say lady, and he says, oh, do you know, just kick her into touch. I don't feel that you mix very much, you know, you kind of meet each other, and it's polite. Does that make sense to you?
It's only been recent, but it's not really polite.
He's being diplomatic, bless him. Okay, yeah. It's a lovely old East End phrase. It's a lovely old East End phrase. He just says, "Oh, cock-a-deafin, walk across the road." You haven't seen her.
What's the expression?
Sorry.
What's the expression?
Cock-a-deafin. It just means like if they're talking to, yeah. It may not be the connotation you've put on it, but it just means, you know, they talk, just don't listen. That's what it means. It's got a wicked sense of humour, this gentleman. He's picked up on that straight away, so it did go over my head. Okay, so yeah, he's just saying, you know what, out of mind, out of sight, out of mind. Just let it go. Now, he's called her busybody, but he's also used the word biddy, which is kind of an Irish connection or Irish term. So would you understand there being either a connection with Ireland with yourself or with that lady?
I'll live myself, yeah.
Right, okay. Fantastic, because again, they don't say anything by commenting it, he just used that term, and he says, you know, as you let that slip, sorry, it's making me laugh, is that she won't appear like a genie on the corner just waiting for you, so you'll just naturally avoid each other. Have you got any questions at all? She's got a wicked sense of you. If she could hear what he's telling me, which I can't repeat.
Is my brother around? Is he anywhere there?
As you've asked about a brother, he's quite a heavy-set gentleman, isn't he?
He used to be.
Yeah, because he's just stepped forward. I think he got bored very quickly when he was in life. Does that make sense to you?
It could be, but yeah.
Yeah, because he's just come through, and as you've asked, you know, how is he? He said, I'm fine, and then he just gave me the impression of just sort of kicking stones and wandering around, and, you know, it's, well, what is there to do? He is actually happy, yeah.
Is he happy with what's going on around, bro?
Now he says, now you're asking, that's a completely different thing. He isn't happy. He would be the kind of gentleman that would just step forward, kind of roll his sleeves up and go, right, let's solve this one way or another. I think he could